Hello and welcome back to this channel, Equine Hair by Sabina. Today I'm going to be going over the all-around show bun for the human competitor. So here's the finished product. As you see, it started off with a low ponytail. You want to get as low on the nape of the neck as you can. And then I'll show you how to, but it's just a wraparound hairnet and then lots and lots of pins. And you want to make sure everything's really smooth, really low down. So we'll get started. You're good. Okay. So we've started here. I've already done the low ponytail. I've gelled it down. Something to keep in mind is you want to keep it as low on the nape as you can. A really good technique for getting it to lower if you need it is you just grab two sections from the very bottom of the ponytail, just like with banding, and you just pull it down and towards the nape. That really helps to solidify it against the neck, or almost the neck, as opposed to like pulling all of it apart and kind of getting it to scrunch up here. So next step will be for me to grab, I have bands on my fingers for a little bit later. I'm just going to brush it out, make sure it's nice and smooth, which it is, good. And then I'm going to twist. It doesn't matter which way you twist, but just remember which way you've twisted. Twisting all the way, and then I'm going to have this hairnet ready. You want to keep the hairnet as similar of a color to the person's hair as you can, so I would have gone for blonde had I known my model had a little bit of lighter hair than I was intending. As well, if you can get the same hair tie color, that would be great, but this will be hidden, so either way, you can work with it. So I'm just going to twist it and then take it above, securing it, kind of readjusting, and then you're just doing a tight bun like this. And you don't have to worry too much about how like big it's going to get this way, because the way you're going to fasten the hairnet will kind of help you out. So I've got two bands together just in case one breaks. I'm going to get all around there, and you just want to make sure to fasten the end of the bun is the most important part. Just like that. So it's not looking great. Obviously, it's kind of sticking out, but the good thing is once we get this hairnet, which we're going to take like this, and then fold in half like that, you're just going to take it as many times as you can around without it getting too tight or anything. Like that. One more time. So it's sticking out here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some hairpins and I'm going to have my model hold them. So these are not quite bobby pins. If you see, they just are naturally kind of parted there. They're really good for grabbing some of the bun as well as some of the head, or not the head, but the hair already on the head, just to kind of make them push in together. And so you can kind of push the bun in. If you need to, have your model push against your hand. So push against me a little bit. So I can grab the bun, grab the hair on her head, and just keep pinning, especially on the top is where you're going to need to do that a lot, just to make sure that it's really secure. And there's no like certain number of hairpins you're going to need. A lot of people will use pretty much as many as they have. But you just want to make sure that that top especially is really solid against their head so that it's not sticking out or anything like that. So again, I'm just grabbing some of the bun, grabbing some of the hair on her head, and gently shimmying. She doesn't have a very sensitive scalp, but you want to make sure you have communication with whoever your model is so that they can tell you if you're starting to get into like a really sensitive spot or anything like that. So now you can see it's not really coming out as much, it's really staying snug there. And this is maybe a tad high for what we'd want, but this would go under your hat for your classes like your horsemanship, your showmanship, things like that. Or this could be a good all-day hairstyle if you have like a bunch of events in one day and you don't have the time to change your hair. And then I'm going to take these back. Your last step will simply be to add some more hairspray where you see fit, especially around the edges, kind of encompassing the head. If you have like a lot of flyaways, the top doesn't matter as much because it will be covered, but you still want to make sure it's nice and smooth down, that it'll fit under the hat, checking that before you go into your show pen, whatever you're doing. But yeah. So I wanted to briefly talk about if you're doing a class wherein you can have a ponytail down, or if you have the time to kind of switch your hairstyles, something to keep in mind, again, you're going to want it close to the nape, really low down. So again, tightening by using the hairs underneath, tightening towards the head. As well, you don't want to have any ponytail showing, even if it's the same color as your hair, which this one obviously isn't. But what you'll do to fix that is grab a little piece of hair from the underside of the ponytail, and it can be very, very small. And you're just going to wrap it around the ponytail. Her hair is very long, so it'll be quite a few wraps. Or if you're really good, you can actually tuck it in and make it work that way. But you'll just wrap it around nice and smooth and snug like this. Keeping it smooth. And then I like to kind of come up towards the top when I'm ready to pin. I'll grab a bobby pin this time instead of a hairpin, so these are the ones that close. The rigid part of the ridges of the bobby pin will go downwards. And then you'll just pin it in, and if you need a few. Mini bobby pins are really good for this. I actually need to redo that. Mini bobby pins are really good for this because you don't want the bobby pin stabbing you in the neck when you're going through your class. But you want to secure it like that. And then again, you can do a little bit of tightening, but once it's in there, it's going to be a matter of hairspraying, gelling, and keeping it all in place. Okay. For people with short hair, that being shorter than their chin or at their chin, you don't have to style it in a specific way, but you should have it well kempt. You will have to put it up for your hunt seat classes under a helmet, but that's still pretty easy considering you'll still have access to a hairnet.